Today, we're going to be going over how to make money this week in Grand Theft Auto Online using the weekly bonuses that we have access to this week, and we've actually got some pretty good stuff going on. Now, before we talk about it, consider dropping a like and hitting that subscribe button if you guys are new. Only 25% of you guys are subscribed, but so many people watch these videos, so consider subscribing. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, unfortunately, the same as last week, our major money bonus this week is going to be a production speed bonus, which isn't very ideal considering the business that it's on. However, before we talk about that, let's go over some of the more basic ways and potentially great ways to make money this week in GTA Online. Starting us off, we have triple money on an adversary mode this week, and that comes in the form of the brand new Deadline Duet mode, which is a Valentine's Day themed version of GTA Online's regular Deadline adversary mode. And it kind of plays like Slither.io. If you guys are familiar with that game, basically the goal is to use the light trail that is emitted from the back of your bike to cut off the opposing players, which will cause them to blow up and be destroyed. And the team with the least deaths or the team with the most eliminations is going to be the winner in this mode. Now, adversary modes typically pay an okay amount of money, but on triple money, they're actually somewhat fun and they can earn you a lot of money, to be honest. However, the only issue is that Deadline Duet is only a 4-player adversary mode, so you're kind of losing out on some of the potential extra money from having something like 8 or 16 players in an adversary mode lobby, like you might with something like Motor Wars if you guys are familiar with that. Now, this means that the potential to earn in this mode is going to be slightly decreased, but you can also set the round length in this mode to a longer amount of time, so more time on the rounds will help to increase the payment as well. Now, regardless, this is one of the best ways to make money this week for lower level players who aren't as established in GTA Online as some veteran players and stuff like that. Now, for a full game of Deadline, you're probably going to get about $200,000 as the winning team. And this is assuming that it's 3 rounds. If you play like a best of 3 type thing or a best of 5, you can make way more money. I played this with a couple of my buddies tonight, and the winning team made $225,000, and it only took about half an hour. So this is honestly not a terrible way to make money, and this is with 10-minute rounds, keep in mind. So pretty good way to earn money this week in online. I would definitely give it a shot. I find Deadline to be absolutely infuriating. I suck at it, and it's honestly so miserable to play, but the money is pretty good, and you are probably a lot better at it than I am, so you'll probably have better luck with that. Now, we also have another bonus that sort of ties into this with the Deadline Duet adversary mode, and that comes in the form of the weekly challenge, which is to win 2 adversary modes this week in GTA Online. And if you do that, you will receive a $100,000 bonus. So this paired with the triple money on Deadline Duet is probably going to make it worth doing, in my opinion at least. We also have CEO, associate, and bodyguard salaries on 4 times money this week, which effectively translates to about $40,000 every 10 to 15 minutes. So if you're playing with friends this week, it might be advantageous to be in another player's CEO as often as possible, especially if you're broke in GTA, because you're going to get at minimum an extra $160,000 per hour, which is not too bad, and it doesn't cost the CEO any money either. So really, this is a pretty good way to make money, and it's pretty passive as well. Now, we also have double money and double RP on the short trip missions with Franklin and Lamar. These are actually a really good way to make money and get a lot of RP. Each mission on double money will pay between $100,000 on normal difficulty to $125,000 on hard mode. So this is a pretty good way to earn money this week, honestly. And of course, these missions are also repeatable, so you can spam them as often as possible, especially if you find one that you like doing better than the others. If you can complete it faster, that's going to be a good way to farm some money this week. Now, for some of you, this will be a completely new concept. I got a lot of comments about it today, but we have bunker research missions on double money, double RP, and double research progress. So pretty good bonus right there. Now, these missions were added in 2022's Criminal Enterprises update, in case you were unfamiliar with this, and essentially they are to just help you get your bunker research done a little bit faster. Now, these can be initiated by calling Agent 14 on your phone, and they will be paying about $20,000 per mission on double money, as well as giving you about 2,000 to 4,000 RP depending on the length of the mission, which mission it is, and everything like that. They're also going to increase your research progress for each thing by about 33% for each mission that you complete this week. So not a bad way to get your bunker research done. And if you don't have it all completed yet, this is absolutely clutch, and you should be taking advantage of this if you need to unlock anything else through bunker research. So make sure to take advantage of this. We also have the community race series on double money and double RP again this week. It usually is double money and double RP, it seems, so that's cool. Now, there's community created races that are honestly a lot of fun, and definitely something I would recommend doing and taking advantage of, especially if you play with friends. Now, if you can get a full lobby, or at least a semi-populated lobby, these are actually going to earn a ton of money if you place within like the top 10, top 5, let alone getting into the top 3. If you place first, you're going to get over 100 grand a race, like easily, as long as that lobby is somewhat full. Now, as I mentioned at the start of the video, the biggest or best money bonus of the week is going to be the double production speed on the Math Lab business. Now, we had Coke on double speed last week, and that was a decent bonus. However, the Math Lab production rate is a little bit slower than Coke's, and the product is less valuable than Coke. So how much money can we make from it this week? Well, regularly it takes 6 hours to produce full product from 0. So this week it's going to be taking 3 hours. Now, that's going to make about $148,750 an hour, assuming that you get supplies as often as you need to and that there's no downtime in between. Now, that's with selling in a private lobby. However, if you do sell with the high demand bonus, the number that it is going to make per hour is going to be about $223,125 an hour, which isn't too bad, to be honest. However, like I mentioned last week, you can stack the 2x bonus with the 3x bonus from the Mansion Boost Production ability, and that will turn things up a notch. Now, with the 3x boost applied to the already double bonus, you're going to get 6 times production speed. This means it's going to take you exactly 1 hour to make the full $446,250 worth of product in the Math Lab, and that's assuming you're selling in a solo lobby. Now, if you sell in public, it's going to equate to about $669,000 an hour, which is pretty damn good. Now, albeit, like I said, the 2 times production on Coke last week was better, but this is still fairly good. The only real unfortunate part of this entire thing is that if this was a double money bonus, it would be a lot better, simply because the production bonus just means you're going to have to do more MC sale missions to get the same amount of money, whereas a 2x bonus would have been less sales, which would have been way nicer and way better. Either way, it's a good bonus. It just definitely could have been better. Now, luckily for those of you that don't own one of these businesses, it is on sale this week. It's 40% off, including upgrades as well. So if you don't have a Math Lab yet, this is going to be an excellent time to pick it up. Now, if you do decide to get one this week, you got to make sure to get all the upgrades as well, because they're going to make it so much better. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that through the nightclub basement, you will also be able to accrue goods simply by owning a Math Lab, so it is 100% worth buying for that reason. Now, if you don't plan to use the Math Lab itself, as in supply it, sell it directly, you do not need to buy the upgrades for it, because that is not going to affect how much money your nightclub basement makes with this business. So just keep that in mind. If you have the HSW time trial available on your platform, this week is one of the easiest ones possible. It's the Sandy Shores to La Puerta time trial. Simply follow the route that I'm taking in the background gameplay on your screen right now, and you're going to make it easily. You're just going to beeline it to the highway, even going off-road through the satellite dishes right in front of the prison. Simply get onto the highway and go all the way down into Los Santos through Union Square, and you're going to head down through Davis and straight towards the arena. Then you're going to take that final right corner, and you're going to go in between the scrapyard and the vehicle cargo warehouse that resides right there. For doing this, you're going to get $251,000, and you can do this every single week. Now, the time trial will vary, but I'm going to include those in these weekly money videos so you guys will know how to do them exactly. So make sure to take advantage of this. As always, for doing all the HSW time trials in a year, you'll make about $18 million, which is kind of crazy to think about. So good amount of money and not that much effort. These all take like less than 3 minutes each, so definitely worth doing. One final thing that I will mention is that the LS Car Meet prize ride this week is extremely easy to get. You simply need to win one LS Car Meet Series race. So if you have a friend, I would recommend win trading with them so you both get the car. Now, the prize ride this week is the Ubermacht Reinhardt, a BMW station wagon. It's got all-wheel drive, some nice customization, and it's a $1.6 million car. So getting it for free is pretty awesome. Now, it's not the greatest car of all time, but it's a sick car for what you're getting. And it's really easy, so you might as well do it. Now beyond this, make sure to source your CEO cargo as always with the warehouse technicians, hit your daily stash house, and keep all your businesses supplied and therefore making money. Thanks so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video or if you learned something, and consider subscribing if you guys are new. With that being said, I'll see you tomorrow. Till then, take care. Peace.